Are you ready? Are you ready to find your joy? Welcome to Live Joyfully. My name is Sean Benyon, and I am a man of joy. This, what you're about to see, is a compilation of the last 10 years of discovery of what really is important. And for those of you who, all of you have come here somehow, and most of you probably went to the introduction and heard a little bit about my story. This concept of going through the worst moments of my life and, driving down the road with just so much pain and sorrow. And then just a matter of weeks later, driving down a road just a couple miles away, full of gratitude and joy, like brimming with happiness and joy. I was blessed to find the key that changed my life, and I want to share that knowledge with you. And so this is a very exciting time. I'm thrilled that you're here because it means that the things that I went through had purpose. And not only do I get something out of it, but so do others. And as many as, I want to help as many people as possible. So please, if you haven't done so yet, tell your friends about this. There's nothing better to share with somebody than the gift of joy. But first, I want to start with an activity because I want you to feel right off the bat what this program can do for you. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to time travel. I'm not kidding. Like, this is actually a really cool concept. What we're going to do is we're going to take memories from the past and take those moments and those feelings and emotions, and we're going to bring them into the present. So check this out. It's super cool. So it's kind of a bit of a meditation. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. And what I want you to do is think of a moment that was super happy in your life. Maybe one of the most powerful moments you've had in terms of joy and happiness. Maybe it was the birth of a child, or, the day you got married, or when you accomplished something great, or maybe it was like you were in a hike in Costa Rica or in Hawaii or something, and you like came across something really beautiful. So choose a moment, and if you need time, feel free to hit pause until you have that moment. And then now that you have that moment, I want you to close your eyes and relive that moment. Start with, what did you see? What was going on around you? What did you see? What did you hear? Relive it in your memory, what you saw, what you heard. And now I want you, instead of just like observing what you see, I want you to actually relive the memory. And I want you to focus on the emotions that you feel. How do you feel? There may be some physical touch that was involved. If so, relive that as well. So what do you see? What do you hear? What do you experience? What do you feel inside? Okay. Come back to the present. How do you feel right in this moment? If you have a pulse, you probably feel different than you did just 30 seconds ago. What happened? Joy happened. Time travel happened. You brought a memory and emotion from the past into the present. Scientists have said, and studies have shown, that people are able to feel just as much joy in the memory of an event than in the event itself. And in fact, sometimes in living the memory, there's actually more joy and happiness derived in the memory of it than in the actual event.
The first one was when I took her for the very first time in our car. I had a Corvette at the time. Things settled down. I have a Camry hybrid. But anyway. I'm looking at her, and she has 3 siblings, 7, 6, and 5. So my daughter has 4 kids, 8, 7, 6, and 5, which is another story. But I looked at her and I said, "Are you excited to be going with Grandpa?" And she just looked up at me with this grin, this smile. And in that moment, I just felt pure joy and love. You know, it was a most evidence for me that Father in Heaven loves us.
So let me ask you, when you were thinking about this experience, could you feel those emotions again?
Yes.
Tangibly?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that experience.
So mine's probably pretty typical because it was the birth of my baby girl. But I think why this particular birth was so eventful was because it was an emergency, and I was about to lose my life when that baby was delivered, C-section, and I remember them putting her in my arms. And what's interesting is when you were talking about like the smell of the medicine, and there really was so many other sensations when I really thought about it. When you were saying, you know, what were the sounds and the clanking of all the instruments, and getting her because she was born too early, and just all the emergency stuff that was going on. And then when they put her in my arms, it's like it was the most amazing feeling that I knew we were going to be okay, both of us, you know. And so, you know, it's a simple memory. I think a lot of people would choose the birth of their child, but, you know, this particular one was super cool to me. So.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that. And one of the interesting things is, as both of you were sharing your stories, I was going through the gallery and I'm watching other people smile. So who here, and you can physically raise your hand here, going through this exercise actually had some of that joy from that event physically and emotionally return to them? Let me see your hands if that happened to you. Isn't that amazing? We can fully engage in these kind of moments anytime we need it. And it's really, really a powerful thing.
First of all, what was your experience?
So I thought of a time that I was with good friends and we were out dancing all night long. And that was a really amazing time that we had.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I noticed you have a big smile on your face.
Yeah. It was a amazing time.
Anything else you want to express about that?
I think this is a great practice to do to cultivate those good joy feelings.
And so memories are like portable packets of joy that the heavens give us. Mm-hmm. And anytime we're feeling low or we just want a little bit of a pick-me-up, we can remember those things. And it's such a blessing. Now, if you really want to be able to cultivate memory, take pictures. I have memories from when I was 2. My mother took a lot of photos and she would review them with us weekly. We'd sit on her lap every Sunday and she'd show us these photos. And because of that, I have very strong memories of going over to Cardboard Box and looking in and there's a box full of kittens, you know, or the time when I came around the corner and there was an Easter egg just sitting there for me. And I remember in great detail, and I'm grateful for that. So take lots of pictures of your times and review them. Those will be windows to that memory.
Really does bring those back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
I agree with the pictures. It can really just bring everything back, along with videos and songs.
I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share this with you, and I'm so excited to hear what your journey will be. As we go through this course, we're going to talk about principles and how joy happens, you know, really interesting tidbits that we can use as tools. And then we're going to learn principles, and then we're going to apply those into activities. And then at the end of that, you'll have a little bit of what's called a joy journey or your happiness blueprint. Okay, so what we just did is one of those. And so what we do in this book and in this module, in this training, what we basically do is we take those scientific facts or principles and we basically hack them, right? And we hack the way our brain works and the way life works to actually short circuit some of the things to bring you joy. And some of you can think of it as hacking. I prefer just to think of it as living and appreciating and identifying certain things. So those are the first things. So basically principles of science, that type of thing. Then there's an activity that we will learn and I'll show you how to do and we'll do together. And usually there's some work that you do with it as well. And then the final piece, as we move down the road through this training, what we do is we give you a blueprint for how to build a life of maximum joy, a life of incredible beauty. And if you are willing to do that kind of work, your life will never be the same. You will have what people all over the world want more than anything else. According to surveys, they want that more than wealth. They want happiness more than marriage. They want happiness more than anything that exists. Because you can have marriage, you can have kids, you can have money and still be miserable. Or you can have none of the above and be incredibly happy. And hopefully you have those things that you want and have joy in them as well. And so that's the way that this program works, and I'm thrilled about it. Now, the other part that's really, really cool about this, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tools, a whole bunch of principles, whole bunch of tools, and I want you to try them. And if you don't like a particular tool, that's okay. You don't have to ever do it again. And in fact, you are going to record which tools you do like and which ones you don't like. And you're going to do it in a way that this entire program, by the time you're done, you're going to have a customized blueprint to happiness, to your joy journey. So let me give you an example. The activity we just went through, we learned a principle and we did that basically going back and time traveling a memory, right? So if that was really effective to you and you felt like really happy and you're like, wow, I want to do that again, you're going to rate it and you're going to rate it high. If you didn't like it as much, that's okay. Rate it honestly where you thought that fit. And you may want to try these activities several times before you decide for good. And you can always go back and change your mark on that. But what's cool about this as well is I actually want you not just to decide if you like it, but you may get a little inspiration on how to tweak it a little bit, how to modify it. Awesome. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about like doing everything exactly how I tell you. What it is these are principles that you get to apply according to what is useful and helpful to you. And so, for example, a lot of times when we do like meditation, for example, you begin with deep breathing and you notice your breath and you focus like on your breath as kind of your center. For me, that wasn't resonating as well. And I felt like maybe a better thing to do for me was to focus it on my soul, like right in here for me. And I really identified well with that. And it was really, really effective for me. And so that's how I do it. But it may not be effective for everyone, right? For you, it might be focusing on something else. And so I want you to be able to do that and feel comfortable doing that. And there is also places where with the activities or the tools that you have, you can write those things as well. And I actually would love to know some of these modifications, if you don't mind sharing, if you're comfortable with it. Yeah, share those, because I want to know what is most helpful for people so that I can share that with others, right? And so anyway, what will end up happening is now you have a list of tools to bring you happiness. You have which ones resonate the most to you or with you. You have modifications on them, if you have any. And then you're going to have details as well. So for example, what you'll do is you'll actually type in what your memory was. And so by doing that, when you want to do this activity again, you have every single element needed to repeat with amazing results. And that's what your joy blueprint or your joy journey, your happiness blueprint is going to be. At the end of this course, you are literally going to have like an entire list of things you can do to have joy, and you're going to have a plan on how to have a life, how to build a life of happiness and joy long term. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to share this with you, and I'm so excited to hear what your journey will be and how these things can help you. So that's our introduction. We'll see you on the next module.